Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantasto Hi Abhadrani Vidunoti Suhrit Sadam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 6, Text 39. Tam Brahma Nirvana Samadhimashritam Vyupashritam Girisham Yoga Kaksham Salokapala Munayo Maunanam Adyam Manum Pranjalayah Pranemuhu Tam Brahma Nirvana Samadhimashritam Vyupashritam Girisham Yoga Kaksham Salokapala Munayo Manunam Adhyam Manum Pranjalaya Pranemuhu Tam Brahma Nirvana Samadhimashritam Vyupashritam Girisham Yoga Kaksham Salokapala Munayo Manunam Adhyam Manum Pranjalaya Pranemuhu. Synonyms: Tam, him, Lord Shiva. Brahma Nirvana, in Brahmananda. Samadhim, in trance. Ashritam, absorbed. Vyupashritam, leaning on. Girisham, Lord Shiva. Yoga Kaksham, having his left knee firmly fixed with a knotted cloth. Salokapalaha, along with the demigods headed by Indra. Munayaha, the sages. Manunam, of all thinkers. Adyam, the chief. Manun, thinker. Pranjalayaha, with folded palms. Pranemuhu, offered respectful obeisances. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. All the sages and demigods, headed by Indra, offered their respectful obeisances unto Lord Shiva with folded hands. Lord Shiva was dressed in saffron garments and absorbed in trance, thus appearing to be the foremost of all sages. Purport. In this verse, the word Brahmananda is significant. This Brahmananda or Brahma Nirvana is explained by Prahalad Maharaj when one is completely absorbed in Adokshaja, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is beyond the sense perception of materialistic persons. One is situated in Brahmananda. It is impossible to conceive of existence, name, form, quality, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he is transcendently situated beyond the conception of materialistic persons. Because materialists cannot imagine or conceive of Supreme Personality of Godhead, they may think that God is dead, but factually, he is always existing in his Satchidananda Vigraha, his eternal form. Constant meditation concentrated on the form of the Lord is called samadhi, ecstasy, or trance. Samadhi means particularly concentrated attention. So, one who has achieved the qualification of always meditating on the personality of Godhead is to be understood to be always in trance and enjoying Brahma Nirvana or Brahmananda. Lord Shiva exhibited these symptoms, and therefore it is stated that he was absorbed in Brahmananda. Another significant word is Yoga Kaksham. Yoga Kaksha is the sitting posture in which the left thigh is fixed under one's tightly knotted saffron cloth or colored garment. Also, the word Manunam Adhyam are significant here because they mean a philosopher or one who is thoughtful and can think very nicely. Such a man is called Manu. Lord Shiva is described in this verse as the chief of all thinkers. Lord Shiva, of course, does not engage in useless mental speculation, but as stated in the previous verse, he is always thoughtful regarding how to deliver the demons from their fallen condition of life. It is said that during the advent of Lord Chaitanya, Sadashiva appeared as Advaita Prabhu, and Advaita Prabhu's chief concern was to elevate the fallen conditioned souls to the platform of devotional service to Lord Krishna. Since people were engaged in useless occupations which would continue their material existence, Lord Shiva, in the form of Lord Advaita, appealed to the Supreme Lord to appear as Lord Chaitanya to deliver these illusioned souls. Actually, Lord Chaitanya appeared on the request of Lord Advaita. Similarly, Lord Shiva has a sampradaya, the Rudra Sampradaya. He is always thinking about the deliverance of the fallen souls as exhibited by Lord Advaita Prabhu. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. I humbly bow down to all the Simul Vaishnavas and thank you for giving me an opportunity to purify myself. So, today's verse is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, text 6, chapter 6, and text 39. And just to get set a context for this verse, the verse itself seems pretty simple, but Srila Prabhupada has gone on to detail to explain about the glories of Lord Shiva, and it's important to understand the context in which this verse comes in. So this verse is so here Sati Devi, who is Lord Shiva's wife, she had immolated herself because she didn't want to have any form of connection with Daksha Prajapati. And after that, the all the problems broke out, and then Daksha was beheaded, and all the demigods were so afraid to go and meet Lord Shiva. And in this context, all the demigods here, headed by Indra, they approach Lord Shiva, who is in this trance or samadhi state, completely absorbed in the meditation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they are offering their respectful obeisances unto Lord Shiva, who is the topmost yogi. So here, Srila Prabhupada, that seems to be a pretty simple verse for today, but Srila Prabhupada in the purport gives so much detail, and he gives us a window into how one should read Srimad Bhagavatam. So, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam is none other than Krishna in the sound form and in word form. And each word of Srimad Bhagavatam is like associating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. So, Srila Prabhupada gives the declination of each of these words, and then he explains the context and says how Lord, and explains and tries to qualify the Supreme Personality of Godhead's position and the position of his pure devotee, Lord Shiva. So here, the first word which Srila Prabhupada takes is Brahmananda, and here Srila Prabhupada quotes Prahlad Maharaj's quote, where one should constantly engage or be absorbed in the meditation of Adokshaja. So this verse comes in the seventh canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and Prahlad Maharaj is actually advising his friends and all the asuras to actually go and chant the name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this comes in the seventh canto, and it says, Adokshajalambam iha sutambanaha sharirinaha samshriti chakrasatanam tad brahma nirvana sukam vidurbudhas tato bhajadvam hridaye hrid ishwaram tato bhajadvam Hridaye Hrid Ishwaram. The real problem of life is the repetition of birth and death, which is like a wheel rolling repeatedly up and down. This wheel, however, completely stops when one is in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, by the transcendental bliss realized from the constant engagement in devotional service, one is completely liberated from the material existence. All learned men know this. Therefore, my dear friends, O sons of Asuras, immediately begin meditating upon and worshipping the super soul within everyone's heart. So this is the verse Srila Prabhupada is quoting here. And there is another verse which comes to mind from the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Savai Pumsan Paro Dharmo Yado Bhaktir Adokshaje Ahaituki Apratihata Ye Atma Suprasidati. So the word Adokshaja can be declined itself into into multiple ways, but the ways which our acharyas have explained is Ada and Akshaja. Ado and Akshaja. So Akshaja means Aksha is means this means all the words in this Sanskrit literature. So it starts with A and then ends with Ksha. So everything between A and Sha is can be comprised of Aksha. And anything which can be born or which can be described by these words is called Akshaja. And that which is beyond description of this language is called Adokshaja. That so Srila Prabhupada explains this as Adokshaja is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is beyond materialistic conceptions. So that's the root word, that's the meaning of Adokshaja. And here it is mentioned that Lord Shiva was completely entrenched in thoughts of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was in the Brahmananda platform. So this reminds me of a verse from the Gajendra Moksha Stotra, where Gajendra says, Namo Atma Pradipaya Sakshine Paramatmane Namo Giram Viduraya Manasas Chetasamapi. So Gajendra prays, saying that you are the Atma Pradipaya. You are a self-effulgent super soul who is the witness in everybody's heart. And Namo Giram Viduraya. Giram means words, and you're beyond description of words, and you're beyond manas and chetas as well. So that's the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here the couple of points which Srila Prabhupada makes is that Lord Shiva is is the topmost yogi, and he is completely involved in the meditation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and by virtue of that he is in Brahmananda. And this Brahmananda is only achieved when one meditates on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adokshaja, who is beyond these materialistic conceptions. So this also brings to the point that it is not possible for everybody to realize God, because God is beyond empirical observation. So that is the point which Srila Prabhupada emphasizes more in the second paragraph. So he says that the materialists cannot imagine or conceive of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They may think that God is dead, but factually he is existing in his Satchidananda Vigraha form. So this reminds me of a verse from Kunti Maharani's prayers. She says, Maya Javanika Channam Ajnadokshajam Avyayam Na Lakshase Muda Drisha Nato Natya Daro Yata. So this Maya, or the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, acts as a curtain. So everything exists in this world as Krishna, but because of the power of Maya, Maya's Prakshebatmika Shakti and Avaranatmika Shakti, you are not able to see the Supreme Personality of God everywhere. So here Srila Prabhupada says that Samadhi means particularly concentrated attention on the Supreme Personality, meditation on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if we are able to constantly see everything in relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then that is called Samadhi. And Lord Shiva was in that such elevated state, and hence he was in Brahmananda platform. So same point Kunti Maharani makes. She says, Antar Bahir Avastitam. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead is present within and without, but Alakshanam Sarva Bhutanam Antar Bahir Avastitam. Even though Supreme Personality of Godhead is present both within and without, we are not able to establish a connection with him. And once we establish that connection and we are constantly engaged in his meditation, then that is called samadhi. So this is a little different from the typical conception of samadhi from the Ashtanga Yoga school of thought, right? So the cessation of all activities and completely merging in the Brahman effulgence is considered to be samadhi. So here, Srila Prabhupada explains that even though one may think God is dead, but factually he is always existing in his Satchidananda Vigraha form. So God exists in multiple ways. We know that he exists as the Paramatma, as a localized aspect in one's heart. He's present in every atom of this world as Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu, and then he's present as he's existing as Krishna, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, in this Shama Tribanga Lalita form, where he exists in that form forever. So it is a little difficult for us to understand this, and that's where Ishopanishad says that Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. So Lord Krishna is complete. And if you take a portion from the complete, still the complete whole exists. So that is the explanation for this. So even though Krishna exists in everything within and without, he also exists as the Satchidananda Vigraha form as Lord Krishna in the Goloka Vaikuntha. So that's the point Srila Prabhupada tries to make here. So he explains how it is difficult for materialistic people who are so involved in empirical observation that the Supreme Lord is beyond empirical observation. And when one is completely absorbed in the samadhi or thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then one is considered to be in samadhi. And then Srila Prabhupada goes on to explain about how Lord Shiva is considered to be the chief of all thinkers. And he says, Manunam Adyam. So he qualifies Manu as a person who is very thoughtful. And so he is Manunam Adyam. Adyam means the first and foremost. And that's where he is called the topmost yogi. And then Lord Shiva is described as Manunam Adyam because he is very constantly involved in thinking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Srila Prabhupada says that it's not useless mental speculation, but as stated in the previous verse, he is always thinking about how to deliver the fallen conditioned souls. And Srila Prabhupada draws the parallel from the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, Gaur Leela, where Lord Advaita Prabhu is considered to be the incarnation of Lord Shiva himself. And Advaita Prabhu prayed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead that he appear so that people can be delivered in this age of Kali. And it is also mentioned that it's because of the prayers of Advaita Prabhu, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared and advented in this world to deliver the fallen conditioned souls. And Srila Prabhupada says that there is also a Rudra Sampradaya, which is starting from Lord Shiva. And then, so that is one of the bona fide Sampradaya. And so those are the points which Srila Prabhupada makes in the third paragraph. So here, a couple of things are very clearly established. Here, the fact that Lord Shiva, even though there is so much chaos going around because of Daksha being beheaded and Sati being immolated, he's completely transcendental to all these, and he's situated in Brahma Nirvana platform, and he's able to do this because he's constantly involved in thoughts about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's the whole point here. And Srila Prabhupada redefines what samadhi means. The samadhi is not complete cessation of activities, but rather it's completely associating our thoughts with the Supreme Personality of God and being completely absorbed in those thoughts. So that state is called samadhi. And Srila Prabhupada says that Lord Shiva is the most munificent, and he's always thinking about how to deliver the fallen conditioned souls. So this remind me of a bhajan um, uh, by Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and here that explains how Narada Muni and all the Brahma, Lord Shiva, all of them are dancing to the tunes of Narada Muni's Veena, and asking everybody to chant this Lord Supreme Lord's name. So I'll sing that song and I'll read the translation. So it says, Panchavadana Narada Duri Premera Sangana Rola Panchavadana Narada Duri Premera Sangana Rola Kamalasana Nachia Bole Bolo Bolo Hari Bolo Kamalasana Nachia Bole Bolo Bolo Hari Bolo Narada Muni Bajai Veena Radhika Ramana Name Name Amani Udita Hoye Bhakata Gita Same Narada Muni Bajai Veena Radhika Ramana Name. It says Lord Shiva, embracing Narada Muni, repeatedly makes loud screams of ecstatic joy, and Lord Brahma, dancing very ecstatically, says, "All you kindly chant Hari Bol, Hari Bol." So when the great soul Narada Muni plays his veena, the holy name Radha Raman descends and immediately appears amidst the kirtan of the Lord's devotees. So this is the mood of topmost Vaishnavas like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, where they're constantly involved in chanting of the Supreme Personality of Lord's name. And that's the form of Lord Shiva, and yes, Sadashiva, who is in the Goloka Vrindavan, and is constantly involved in chanting the Supreme Personality of God's name. And so that's the mood which they have. And they are also constantly involved in praying for the fallen conditioned souls so that we may be elevated. So Lord Shiva, praying to Lord Shiva, who is the topmost Vaishnava, keeps us in good stead and also helps us get into this path of devotional service and also protects our devotional service. So with that, those are the few points which I could gather on this topic. So the three paragraphs Srila Prabhupada has clearly explained and shown with great detail how Lord Shiva is the topmost yogi and how he's always involved in the meditation of the Supreme Personality of